What is going on, everybody? Everybody, welcome back to Niners Coast to Coast. I tell you guys, no matter how long I do this streaming thing, I always get nervous every time I do it. I don't know if you guys deal with the same thing. Trying to open
Does your
like 17 tabs and do this, that, and the other. What's up?
do your palms get sweaty? Do you get hairy on the other side?
Uh, well,
Is
I'm
it?
already hairy, but the sweat is usually at like I perspire around my head and neck because I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know why. I do this. I've done this enough. I guess it just, you're always waiting for that big mistake to happen where you go live and the camera's pointed at the ceiling or something and you're yeah. But here we are, guys. Regular season
Yeah.
over. We all had a big conversation last Monday about who we'd like to see and who would play and all that other stuff. Well, that's all over with. We got a little bit of everything yesterday, and relatively speaking, we got out of there pretty unscathed. Other than Clellan Ferrell, and that looks like it might not be super serious either.
Yep.
So now it's now the real season begins, playoff season, and not gonna lie, it's a little bit nerve wracking because the Niners are the favorite, and they got everybody coming for them, but hopefully the Niners can figure out a way to stave off all oncomers and still do what they have to do. So before we start, I wanted to ask everybody individually what their takeaway or favorite thing was about the 2023 regular season. Like a player that really did something for you that got you going, a coach, a draft pick, whatever. I'll let you guys go and then I'll go last and I'll let you guys answer that. Let me start with Brian Culp. Well, other than Jake Moody, like what was your overall takeaway from this past regular season? And yeah, oh, that guy. Okay,
That's right.
yeah, go right ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, like it's kind of a hard question because I like Jake Moody, but I kind of like him to be funny too. I like being funny. I like Mitch Wisnowski and Tabor Pepper. Of course, you guys know I like special teams, but really, honestly, to be 100%, it's nobody that's on the team anymore. My best experience, my proudest moment this year was getting to meet Steve Young and meeting David and meeting Ty and Jess and everybody. The home opener, week 1, week 3 against the Giants,
That's week 3.
meeting
Yeah.
everybody at the gold mining section, being able to go with Tony, and I mean that's probably the best thing all season. Probably for the last couple of years for me that's happened. So that would be my biggest thing. Honestly, it's neat to see Debo come in and play healthy most of it. CMC went off really big. It's nice to see him have a really amazing year. But I'll be honestly, I want to see a Super Bowl. And I want to see like Roger Craig get into the Super Bowl, into the Hall of Fame, and I think that would be like everything perfect, a perfect season. I'm not really worried about, or someone getting MVP or this or that. Doesn't really. It's about the journey and who's holding the Lombardi at the end. But yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be, if I had to give you a player this year, it'd be probably CMC. Just what he was able to do this year. So,
Ty.
Yeah. For just personally for me, I'm on board with Bryant. Going to Levi's this year, went there twice. My first time being, it was such a blast. Meeting everyone. Brian, Tony, David, Bashar, Ted. I mean, everybody who was out there. It was just so much fun. And then going out there with the UK guys and hanging out with them. It was just a blast to, meet people in person that we've met online and become friends, but just to hang out with them, give them a big hug and say, hey, it's definitely a personal highlight. Player wise, for me, I'm going to say Diamador Lenore was fun to watch. He was a guy I was high on as a rookie, and he came on strong last year. And just to see him this year to, take on the challenge of being outside and kicking inside and, rising to that occasion was super fun to watch. Brandon Ayuk just continuing to emerge and develop as one heck of a receiver, was fun to watch, and just to see the progression and the maturation process of Brock Purdy throughout a full season was definitely fun to watch. So those some guys that stood out for me.
David?
Well, as you know, I went out there for the Giants home opener. Shout out to Jess Ty, and I got a ticket to the gold mine, and it was awesome. It was my first 49er game ever. I got to meet everybody, hug everybody, meet everybody in person, and the next day we actually went out and, well, I don't think it was the next day. It might have been the day after. We went out and, had breakfast with Corey Davis, met Niner Sickness, Beto, John Jay, and then Niner Sickness, Corey, me, and Bryant went for a cruise around the Bay Area. Got to see the Bay Bridge,
nice.
Alcatraz. Went down Lombard Street, and it was funny because Beto's driving. He has his window down. He looks over. There's this guy that looks like James Richard Garoppolo. He goes, "Look, it's Jimmy G." The guy like grins and puffs his chest up and walks out. It was hilarious, but it was a great time. It was my first game ever. I'll definitely definitely will be going to more. As for the team, watching the offense take the next step. Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, CMC for a full season. It was like last year our defensive unit was the best unit. That's it. They could be relied on. They're the best unit of the three stages. And now I don't quite think they are. I think they can be relied on. They will make plays and keep points from being put up on the board when the other team's driving. We've seen that. But at this point, watching the offense progress like it has, and, Kyle, the offensive genius, finally has the offense he's probably been wanting. Shout out to Brock Purdy. Coming on in, Mr. Relevant, too small hands, noodle arm. Say what you're going to say. He'll still beat your team. But the one player on the team, and I am a defensive guy, Deommodore Lenoir.
Okay.
He has took a big step. He's become a boundary lockup guy. And he'll get that interception. We've seen Charvarius Ward step it up for the second half of the season, and he's doing the same thing. Just having our defensive backfield take a step forward has helped big time, and that might be credited to Sideline Steve, right?
Oh no, he definitely him coming. I see how frustrated he was on Sunday when he thought they gave up that play that where his leg was in the ground or his ass was in the ground, and I was pissed too. I'm like, because it just, I don't know, man. That game had a weird vibe because they weren't playing for anything, and it was, I don't know. I got a little bit impatient, but I just relaxed after. But I guess my biggest takeaway, I have a lot of them, and I know you guys are going to be like, oh, here he goes. Meeting you guys and doing a show with you this year has been awesome. It has been a great experience. I'll say this: the underbelly of YouTube, we're the underbelly, right? I might have a big channel with a lot of subs, but I don't necessarily have a great live audience, right? But the underbelly of YouTube is a really close-knit bunch of people that are kind of all just doing stuff to have fun and to keep kind of like connected with fellow fans. And I think that meeting you guys, and I'm not saying anything about other people that I've done stuff with before, but probably the least amount of ego that I've ever had to deal with ever with a bunch of people who have different walks of life, from different places, different ages. The fact that we can have discussions and disagreements but not get mad at each other is always an awesome thing, because I don't like anyone being mad at me, and I don't like to be mad at somebody because I feel it's like poison. As far as the season, the win in Philly and what it did to the Eagles was my trying to think of something fancy to say. It was the icing on the cake, any type of metaphor
Pinnacle?
you can think of. It was at least for the regular season. I don't want it to
regular
be the
season,
pinnacle
yeah.
of the season because we have a lot of work left to do. But just going in there and spanking them and shutting them up and then having them fall apart the way they've been so far has been great. I have never been to a game, and we're going to talk about this towards the end of the stream. They have the final teams of who we're going to play next year. And I guess my whole thing is because you guys were all talking about it, being at games, done stuff at games, met people at games. That might come for me next year. I might go to either the Bills, Niners playing in Buffalo, or take a trip to Miami and watch the Niners play the Dolphins, my brother's team. So that's going to be awesome. Again, I'm so glad I got the chance to do this journey with you guys. Hopefully we can do it next year too. And hopefully, in about a month or so, we can have a stream on a Monday where we have I have no topics to talk about, or nobody has no topiks, and we're just sitting here celebrating a Super Bowl victory. That would be the best show ever, where you're just sitting there, just like can't believe it. It's like meeting a girl meeting like her famous rock band crush or something. It would be the same kind of jubilation. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Definitely has been. It's been a good season.
It has been a good season so far.
Oh yeah.
There's different topics that I want to touch on, but I guess we'll go with this topic. I'll start with David, and then we'll make it to work through Ty, and then BC, and then myself. What is your biggest concern going into the playoffs? We're talking about a lot of positive stuff. But what's your biggest concern going into the playoffs? Defense, special teams, offensive line. Like, what's David McNew's biggest concern so far?
It would be not playing 49er football, getting pass happy. So that'd probably be the offense, run the ball, eat the clock, beat up the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Our pass protection isn't the best, so there's the offensive line there. But typically we draft offensive linemen because they can run block.
Yep.
So, play to everyone's strengths. Let's run the ball. Still let Purdy sling it around, of course. But overall health, staying healthy. That's my biggest concern, because when we're healthy, good luck.
Yep.
All you have to do is look at the Miami Dolphins. You feel for them, but then at the same time, we went through it, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
So you kind of don't feel
They're
bad.
just going through what we went through.
Yeah, when people say, "Oh, well, our team was hurt and we couldn't," no, we dealt with it too. We've been relatively healthy this year, so whoop-de-doo. Ty?
Yeah, for me, it's health of the defense. Those guys, we've already got injuries to safety, injuries on the defensive line. So hold on one second. Pardon me. Just keeping those guys, fresh and healthy for this 3-game tournament that we're in. If they stay healthy, I think we're good to go. And other than that, it's just, as David mentioned, playing 49er football is like everybody doing their job and not trying to do too much. And just sticking with what's got us here, right? Just because it's the playoffs, don't switch up. Just play like a Niner, do what we do, and we'll take care of business. And that's it. That's the biggest concern I got. That and some situational football, which I think they've learned from, like Steve Wilkes calling an all-out blitz with no time to go at the end of a half, right? When the other team has no timeouts. Situations like that. Be smart about it and just let your team do good things, make good decisions.
BC?
Well, I'm concerned with a couple things, and I think they're all, it depends, like kind of like what Ty saw. It's situational football. Not every game is going to be the same, but We have had some games where offenses have been able to run on our defense. We've had some games where our corners and safeties have given up major chunks of yardage to wide receivers, tight ends. We got killed by that tight end in Minnesota. So I do believe in our defense, but I do get nervous sometimes when we usually start out the game scoring, and we have one of the highest percentages in scoring in the opening drive. But when we come back out,
it's the highest in the league.
The highest.
When we come back out and we have to punt, like after halftime, or we don't finish up, and then the other team gets a good field position, and we do put pressure, strain our defense a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. It is about playing 49er football, and I know we can't always have the same game plan, but it does seem to help when we run the ball. Seem to win pretty handily too. We're a very physical team, and when we run over people, they don't seem to hold up against us in the long run. It's really, really. We score over 30 points when we just play 49er football. The other team they don't get close to 20 most of the time. They'll barely get close to 20. So when we start changing our, I don't know why. I don't know if there was like a play that they said, oh, okay, well, now we have to punt. So now we feel like we have to score really quick. I don't know why we get out of it, but that would be my concern. And then Jake Moody kicking on the right side. The guy has five field goals, 1 extra point, and 4 field goals. And I believe 3 of his 4 misses for 3 points or at a real field goal has been from the right side.
Yeah, then wide right.
You have your 2 center hashes, and when they put him on the right side, he kicks to the right. And I don't know if it's him chipping. I don't know. I mean, everybody kicks the ball a little different, just like how everybody throws the football a little bit different. Some people are like, oh, you don't have the mechanics. You don't look good. But then look at Phillip Rivers. Look at all these other quarterbacks that throw funky or wonky, right? It just matters where the ball goes at the end.
Yep.
But I am a little concerned with that, because if you miss on that side, what adjustments have you done in practice to, and again, I'm not questioning Jake. I think he can do it. I think that's something that we should keep an eye out for. I don't think he's going to cost us a Super Bowl. I really hope not, but I would like to see that as stayed in 49er football so we don't get put into that situation.
Well, to piggyback off that, just one quick note.
Yep.
Brian Schneider, our special teams coach, has concerned me all season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a lot of situational football and what is he teaching these guys? Because our coverage unit has been suspect. And, if you got a rookie kicker and we're in a windy stadium and we play in windy stadiums, how are you coaching him up? You should be, having him in the stadium, making provisions that, okay, we know between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., this is the windiest. We need you out here kicking at that time to get acclimated, right? Coaching. You're supposed to be coaching this unit up. That's why we brought you in. You're supposed to be the special teams guru, but it hasn't really shown itself. So he is a concern for me on the coaching side.
For me, it's a multitude of things. Health.
Yep. Always
is a huge concern, because I notice the teams that win it are the teams that stay the healthiest. They get, because attrition is horrible, right?
Yep.
Niners are physical on offense and defense, and things just happen. But I'd rather us lose with no excuses, no reasons. We go in there and the team just beats us. We can't say, well, if we had this guy or if this guy plays. No, I want them all to play. Moody does concern me. His body language, seems like that he's easy to scare, easy to, I don't know, man. He gets in. I've never seen that player. It just seems like mentally he's a little weak when it comes to just being able to kind of brush stuff off, come back the next kick and do it. He misses kicks in bunches, and I don't understand it. And it's that aw shucks look that he gives. Dude, that makes me so mad. I'm like, oh, he looks like he wants to go and cry and go hide. So that concerns me, because defenses usually played better in the playoffs, which means the Niners probably weren't going to go through. I mean, they could, but they're not going to go, drop 45 points on everybody they play because it just doesn't happen that way in the playoffs.
But why not?
But why not? I don't know. I mean, it could, and I'm okay with that. I don't think you guys realize I want us to just win really easily, so we don't have to worry about the kicker.
I don't know Moody personally, but watching interviews and seeing him on television, we got each other's number.
Exactly. The truth comes out.
I would actually really like to meet him, sometime, But anyways, he seems like he's a quiet guy. He's a shy guy, So not everybody's built the same. But I would rather see the guy looking, feeling bad a little bit. Like, dang, I just cost us the game, or everybody's believing in me, because I'm a little bit like that, I wear my heart on my sleeve, right? So when you have somebody like that, who is walking over to the sideline, like, damn, I just missed. It's a lot better than somebody standing on the sidelines grinning during a playoff loss, right? I mean, like, it's just, so it is,
bingo.
It's the moment. We're mad at the moment. Like, if he kicks it and wins it, we don't say a damn thing, right? We don't say anything. But when he misses it, he's public enemy number one. He is the villain. And if anybody's ever been the villain, when you truly are the villain, you don't want to be the villain anymore. You don't. You want to make everything around you happy and in a way where no one's calling you the villain anymore. Things are going in the direction that no one's going to be angry anymore. Like, kind of like Dr. Doom kind of situation. He wanted to build his own utopia, right? His own world. He just wanted to rule it and everybody get along. So I don't know. I just think, he's young, and, we are expecting a lot more out of him because we had somebody like Robbie Gould who played 17 years. And we were complaining about him last year because he couldn't kick far. So it's like, we can't have it both ways. Like, he kicks up
everything.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be the reason that we lose a playoff game. Because that would be, he won't be back next year if that happens. I can tell you right now. They're not going to bring him back if he misses big kicks in the Super Bowl or the playoffs. So hopefully he can figure out what's ailing him.
I don't know if that's even true either. Sorry, Ty. Because Doug O'Brien, back in 94, 95, they didn't retain him after drafting him. So I think it has a lot to do with your personality and if you're a fit, and they like Moody. So as long as he's not over there cussing up a storm because he missed and making people feel like, man, I don't want to be next to this guy in the locker room. He's a little crazy. Then he might be, and it depends on the situation too. Like, I thought Jimmy Garoppolo would have been gone after the Super Bowl loss. But we kept him. So it's like, why? So
I gotta tell you. With this offense and all the players that we've praised all season long and all the accolades that they've achieved, if we're in a game and it comes down to our rookie kicker, then it was a massive failure by the offensive unit.
True.
And it's as simple as that.
My nephew always talks about blaming referees. If you just played better and put enough points on the board, you wouldn't have to worry about crunch time decisions by referees impacting the outcome of a game. So in a way, it's kind of the same with the kicking. If you have this high-powered offense with all these weapons and you can't score and you put it on him and he loses, they're just as big of a person to blame than he is, because, I mean, you do all this stuff in the regular season and then you come into the playoffs and you can't figure it out. That would be a major disappointment. Do I think that's going to happen? No.
Yeah.
Hey, so we have the 27th ranked field goal special teams unit. We don't use our field goal team. And Moody's the number 8th kicker in the league, even being the 27th unit back. And I found out earlier, and I got to go double check, but I found out earlier because I didn't watch the whole Washington Cowboy game. The Cowboys kicker, who was perfect, a rookie kicker, because they didn't like their kicker last year, right? He was missing kicks, right? So they went and drafted a rookie, and then they have him, and he misses 2 kicks. Wow.
I was looking at that game. The dude's been perfect all year, and all of a sudden just missed 2 kicks.
I don't talk to a lot of Dallas fans, but they won what 38 to something. I don't think they're mad about the kicker right now.
Yeah.
No.
As long as it doesn't come to bite you in the tuchus, in the butt, then yeah, you're not gonna be mad about it. Like I said, man, the offense is so good, and it just
Offense
I can't
needs to put
see
the
us.
ball in the end zone.
Yeah,
This
just score a
is
bunch of
simple.
freaking points.
This
Yeah.
is the hate for
Yes.
Moody right now. Okay, this is what's funny because I've been hearing it. Everybody knows I'm wearing a jersey, but I've been hearing it, right? If we win the Super Bowl, people will still go back and say, well, we lost the game because of him against the Browns. They won't think of the Super Bowl. They'll go back and point out his mistake. It's like he can even win the Super Bowl. He could have like an Adam Vinatieri moment, and they'll still go back and just point out the Browns game.
If they're doing that, they got some serious mental freaking deficiencies, because if they win the Super Bowl this year, I don't care about nothing except the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I don't
That's
care.
all needs to be talked about.
That's why in the hell would you be talking about a regular season game that in the end didn't matter? But you are right. It's like the people who I watched. I had me and Bash talked about this. He's in the chat. What's going on, Bash?
What's up?
When Purdy played bad against the Ravens, those people came out of the woodwork and were talking about if Trey Lance. They were waiting all season to make a statement about if Purdy, if it was Lance, he wouldn't have thrown 4 picks against the Ravens. That's how it is with some of these fans. I don't even know if they're real fans. I don't know if they're just like they're like, maybe they're hardcore baseball fans or basketball fans, and they're kind of laissez-faire when it comes to football, because I mean, all they do is complain about the team. I did that when we were in between 2014 and 2017, even 2018. I was a horrible fan, dude. I complained about the 49ers all the time, but they sucked. And they had no direction, and they didn't have good players.
Wait,
ever
you didn't like Blaine Gabbert? You didn't like Blaine Gabbert?
No, I didn't like anybody. I was even on the Kaepernick train when he first came into the league. And people want to make comments about other things when you didn't like Kaepernick, and it's like, that has nothing to do with it. He just straight up started to suck. Same thing with Brock Purdy started to suck. I don't have any allegiance to anybody, but like, there is going to be people, even if we win the Super Bowl, that'll sit there and say, well, the only reason we won the Super Bowl, and then they'll come out with some ridiculous statement after it. So yeah, you're right. Some people just don't want to be happy. That's okay. That's why we're here. We talk about them and make fun of them. So question
I've
for
always
you.
said,
Go ahead.
I've always said, I root for the team on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back.
I'm a little bit of both.
I root for the name on the back. I'm sorry. I do.
That's awesome. so Bryant roots for himself. He literally
They can't cut me that way, right?
he's the MVP every week.
Exactly.
All right. So let's talk about trying to think I'm going to leave some of these other ones for the end. The 49ers in 2 weeks. I'm trying to think of the teams. I think it's the Eagles, the Bucks,
and the Rams.
Bucks are 4, Eagles are 5, Rams are 6, and the Packers are 7.
Okay.
We won't play the Lions, who are 3rd, or the Cowboys, who are 2.
Right.
So it's either going to be the Rams or the Bucks.
It could be the Buccaneers, Eagles, Rams, or Packers.
Well, the way the schedule is set up, they're doing like the lower ranked teams
plays the top
first, and then the middle, and then the end. So we will know as the games go on exactly who will play, kind of. Like if the Packers win, we know we're getting the Packers.
Yeah, automatically.
Yeah, automatically. Like if they lose, okay, we go to the next game, and then that's the Rams. And if they lose, Detroit. I mean, if they win, we know we're playing the Rams. But if Detroit wins, it's like, okay, now we get the winner of the Bucks Eagles. Whoever that is, that's who we're playing. So we'll just be able to go down the line and determine automatically who we're going to play.
So I guess I'll ask, starting with Bryant. Who's the matchup that you are most looking forward to if you had control over of it, pick it.
Oh, if I could pick the matchup, I want to play the Packers. I want to play the Packers. I like playing the Packers in the playoffs. My uncle's really super excited. I think the Niners would have a good chance against the Packers, and it would be a really good game. I think Jordan Love can play really well. I don't know if the Packers would really get the game done, but I don't think it would be a snooze fest. I definitely think that would be really an exciting game. I think the Lions are going to beat the Rams, and I think the Bucks are going to beat the Eagles. Love to see the Packers knock out the Cowboys. I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm. I can see that happening.
Ty?
I don't care. Bring them all.
There you go.
I really want the Eagles again, so we can mud stomp them again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to
I've
shut
thought
them
about
up.
that. That's the
That's what I-
ultimate. That would be
That's
an
what I
ultimate way to stick a,
really want. Just mud stomp them again. So yeah.
David.
I would love nothing more than to double tap the Eagles and the Cowboys.
That's right.
Ooh.
Tap tap.
The Rams scare me because they're a division team.
Never
the
heard of
Rams. They have a
them.
division.
Oh, you mean the Lambs?
The Lambs. I know. F the Lambs, but you got to admit, like, familiarity is the worst thing going into the playoffs. As somebody who's familiar,
and we're familiar with beating them down.
Right, and I agree, and I'm totally not saying I'm not. I just for us, that's the one team I don't want to roll into. Lions would be an interesting game because it would prove how close they are. I mean, if the Niners roll them and they play bad, it'd be like, okay, they need some work. Or if they barely lose to us and then they're like, wow, the Lions are really close, and next year who knows, maybe they win the Super Bowl next year. I would love to face the Packers or the Eagles again. The Eagles, just for the simple fact that I want to put them out of their misery. I want to take them out back like they do to a horse that no longer can provide anything, and just put a slug. Yeah,
Yep.
You know what I'm trying to say. Like, just for this year. I mean, it's there's always next year, but like they were so cocky last year and they beat us, and they tried to say like the quarterback thing didn't mean anything. And then we go in there with a full squad into their house on a rainy, crappy Sunday, and we straight mollywop them. We didn't just beat them, we crushed them. That was amazing. I didn't expect that. I thought we had a good chance to beat them. The game started kind of weird. I'm like, oh, here we go. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're going to get rolled. Right now, I'm excited because, like, we're in the freaking divisional round. We have the home, the bye. If we win one game, we're, one game away from the Super Bowl. So it's like, right now, I'm not trying to overly concern myself, but yeah, either the Eagles or the Packers would be my two picks to see. Bucks, I mean, the Bucks have a good defense, but I think the Niners just overall are just a better team than the Bucks, just talent wise. So, but we'll see, guys. We're gonna know.
They got nobody on that team that could guard Brandon Ayuk. Right.
There's a lot of people on that team. We can't guard a lot of our guys. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's just not the Ayuk show, but it's like the CMC show, the Kittle show.
Kittle, yep. Mm-hmm.
The Debo, I know. Debo,
you're absolutely right.
Didn't Debo hit over 1,000 yards rushing this year?
And for his career, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was for this season.
He might have hit 1,000 all-purpose yards or receiving yards, but
okay.
I thought it was his career or something.
He had just over 270 yards rushing for the season.
Yeah.
871 receiving.
How was I thinking?
So
yeah.
Somebody was asking about if we talked about Moody. Yes, we did.
Yep, he's fine.
We're gonna leave that alone for now.
They've been kicking it literally. He's fine.
Oh, okay. Debo hit 1,000 combined yards for the season. Okay. So I just was deaf and blind and I didn't pay attention to what was going on. All right. Let's talk about something that came up today that I'm really, really worried about. And that's Adam Peters possibly leaving the 49ers. I don't want that to happen. because I think he is the architect of the roster that we've had probably since 2017, the build up. What do you guys think about that? I'll start with David. The whole news that he's being sought after by the Commanders and the Raiders. If you're the 49ers, David, what do you do?
Tell John Lynch we're promoting Adam Peters to co-GM, or promote John Lynch to president and make Adam Peters GM. Don't let the man go. He's a keeper.
Oh, he's definitely a keeper.
Definitely a keeper. You remember a few years ago, he's been in interviews. He's rejected interviews because he wanted to stay with us. So all you got to do, Jed, is even create a position for John Lynch, put him in it, put Adam Peters at GM. Just keep the man. It's not like he counts towards the salary cap.
Right.
Exactly. I'm on board with you 100%. Like, you go down and you have an honest talk with him. Like, look, we love you. You're one of us. You know you're one of us. I know these other teams want you, but if you tell us what it needs for you to stay, right, we'll make it happen. And like David said, we can make up a title for you. You're the confidential GM consigliere to Jed York. There you go. That's your fancy title. And you get this much money. Be well. Like, you can literally make up anything.
He's the head of custodial arts, like whatever.
Head of custodial arts. That's right. That's right. You're the assistant head coach / president of grounds crew operations. Whatever you want to be, we'll make it happen. And you just do that. It's that simple. And all it takes is a conversation.
Like, why is this even, like, how had they not promoted him yet is the question. Like, what are we doing?
Because they probably had a conversation with him last year. Like, hey, is there anything you want to stay? He's a Bay Area guy. He's from there. He said he wants to stay. That's his home. So it works out for us. But, if one of these other teams with their new billionaire owners want to start throwing some cash his way, then it's like, okay, Adam, let's talk about this man to man. What do we got to do to make it happen? It's that simple.
BC.
I think it goes on to a lot of people maybe not necessarily liking Lynch. And I like Lynch, so I'm not somebody who wants to push Lynch out the door. I know people have said, well, he wants to go to, broadcasting. He wants to do this and that. He hasn't. And I think he's somebody that, I really think could run for president, to be honest with you. I think John Lynch has that ability. He's been really that voice and that face in the background when people have been upset with, Kyle Shanahan. And that's, to me, is what a good general manager is. And he might be one who's in charge of drafting and, doing different things with player personnel. But he also is the one who's supposed to be running the football team. So that means he gets somebody else underneath him that does some of those things that are maybe typically other people's duties, that are in his position. But he's doing what he's supposed to be doing and being a good leader. And you deviate, you give everybody a job and you get the best people to do that job. So I think, like what everyone said here, is you go to him and you talk to him and you find out, what do we need to do to get you to stay? What's going to happen? This is going to happen. When this guy leaves, are you going to be ready to take over? And you got to kind of look at it this way too. Majority of those guys are probably friends. If they're not friends, then it's really weird. They've been working together for as long as they have. And I got to tell you, if somebody said, hey, Brian, we're going to give you the captain's position, right? Or you're going to be the boss, but we're going to make Ty retire. I don't think I want to take that position. Like, if you're going to make me push somebody out the door that I like, that I've been working well with, what does it come down to at the end? Is it about money? Is it really about a title? Like, I think we all want to see us win a Super Bowl. So, maybe if they win a Super Bowl and things change from there, then they're like, I want to see if I can do it again on my own, terms. But at this point, if he is the architect, then everybody's right who's been saying this for the longest time. And, he's getting those credits. He's getting the credits from the people who really pay attention and who really know the inside. Again, at the end of the day, do you really need that big pat on the back, or do you just want to do what you're supposed to be doing? Know that you're doing it the best you can. So I don't know. If he wants to go, he's going to go, because it's about that number, right? and the Niners can't afford to pay him anything. You know, they can give him whatever he wants, but then at the end of the day, if he asks for too much, they're going to say, "Hey, man, we love you, but bye, Felicia." And I know I keep saying that, but that's where it's at. You know, you got to be able to work with the team too, and everybody's got to work together. There's only so much money to go around.
So Steve-O asks, what has Peters done that y'all want to keep him?
Yeah.
The roster that you see that has been built since 2017 is a direct result of Adam Peters. John Lynch was hired as GM, but John Lynch was essentially hired to be, because the Niners had a really bad reputation from the Harbaugh years up until about 2017, and they needed to clean house and bring in someone as GM who was accessible,
likable,
open, nothing like Trent Baalke. And then I think, him and Shanahan have been like the perfect duo.
Yep.
And it's well known through the circles. I mean, all you got to do is ask guys like Matt Barrows or Matt Mayoka. They know that behind the scenes, Peters is the one responsible for this amazing roster. It's Peters. I'm not saying that John Lynch is a schmuck, but he's essentially more of the face of the franchise. He is the figurehead. He is he's the politician. He says all the right things. He's a good-looking guy, looks good in a suit. To me, it's a no-brainer. You got to pay him what he's worth and keep him. I think that if they didn't, it'd be a huge mistake, because if you look at some of the best organizations, like John McVay when he was here through all those Super Bowls, John McVay was always responsible for the roster that we saw essentially every single year, and how we were able to win 5 Super Bowls in 12 seasons, I think. And then, once he left, and once certain people left from that front office, the Niners took a nosedive. It does matter who is in charge in certain positions. People don't think so. They're like, oh, anybody can draft players. Really? Were you here during the years in the early 2000s or the years after the Harbaugh? It's not that easy. So I hope he stays, and I hope the Niners pay him what he's worth. And yeah, like John Lynch, just become team president. I mean, that's what the rumors kind of been, but
isn't it funny? Like, if you look at our dynasty and the 49ers organization since the 80s, and you start looking at the coaches that's left our team, and I'm sure you could probably find this with other teams, but to me, it's really funny. Look at Denver. Look at Green Bay. Where did they get their coaches from? They got them from us. They started winning because of us, So I'm sure you can find other coaching trees that's kind of done the same thing. But for those teams to have such a long time run and be a marquee franchise, or a franchise that's had a above 500 record for a good portion of time, like that goes back to the Niners. We put players and coaches in good positions, and when they leave, they go other places and they produce.
So, 49er Minded says that he already was promoted to president of football operations. So Peters can instantly be moved from assistant GM to GM.
They could just transition him. Simple. There you go.
I think it's a no-brainer to keep him. People are like, oh, Martin Mayhew. Martin Mayhew went to, I know he probably wasn't given a long leash, but he's, where did Martin Mayhew go? He went to the, they just got fired. I don't know if it was the Commanders or something. And, it's not that easy to draft players and get talent, to come on board. A lot of these late round gems that we're always talking about. I mean, us as 49er fans, we know every single draft, we're going to draft some dude that we're going to be talking about during the season of like, man, another another Adam Peters, fine.
Fifth round special.
Right. Juwan Jennings, 7th rounder, right? Elijah Mitchell, 6th rounder. Kittle, 5th rounder. Deommodore
Lenoir. Yep. Was 5th or 6th, right? I think 6th.
He was a 6.
Yeah.
He was a 6.
Hey, but to their defense, the first rounders, second, third rounders, everybody's always excited everybody, maybe not the kicker. I might have been the only one excited about the kicker, but everybody else is excited about these players that come out. You know, we've gotten running backs in the third round. Everybody's like, oh, he's a beast. And then we see what happens a couple of years later. You know, we've gotten tight ends in the third round. Everybody was excited about them. We've gotten wide receivers that gotten hurt. So it's not necessarily, you know, bad picks. It just might be, you know, circumstances.
I think Kyle's behind a lot of those offensive picks because it seems like every time he picks, they miss all the time. Yeah, I'm just at a point right now where like I feel like if you get enough cracks at it, you're going to break through. And I'm talking about the Super Bowl. And if the Niners want to do that, they got to kind of keep things as they are. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's a cool saying to say, but it's actually true, especially when it comes to this franchise. The only thing that this franchise really struggles with drafting is running backs in the third round, according to Bashar, and he's 100% right. I don't know what it is every year, like, and as far as the Moody draft pick, I was happy too. I was telling my brother, like, yeah, we got the best kicker in the draft, woo! And then he started struggling this year, and I'm like, oh god. Should we have just kept saying Gonzalez and called it a day, you know, or whatever? But as far let's and this isn't something that's a topic of mine. Real quick, because we're talking about GM. What would be, and this is just a random kind of a fast question. Who anybody could answer. Draft pick wise, first round, Niners #1 focus should be.
Offensive line.
I think Brian's going to go somewhere different here.
Well, I mean, like we always needed offensive line every year, right? But it doesn't seem like we get the one that works out. Everybody seems like, oh, we need to get this one or this one, and they don't seem to work out. I mean, we got guys that we're not even using right now. You know, Gutierrez, I don't know why we have him on the team if we're not going to use him. He's a big guy.
He's part of some international program. He's not really ever going to be a professional player.
I don't think so either.
I mean, like, I don't get that.
Dire emergency.
Yeah, the foreign exchange, I don't know. That don't make no sense. Like, it's a weird way to get people jobs or something like that. I mean, there's people in America that need jobs too. So, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, we do need a defensive tackle. I know, you know, we can get those pretty easily, but I'm not 100% sure that Armstead's going to be okay after this season. So, I mean, you know, I could see them doing something weird. You know, again, everybody's always upset when they get a running back or they get, you know, but they get the best running back, right? You know what I mean? Like, is anybody going to really be mad? You know, I don't know. I always go at the draft and say best player available, because you should be able to get players later in the draft that you can build your team around. And then the next year you're like, well, this isn't our best player and this guy's a little bit better. You know, so maybe we can swap them out. That's why I'm always best player available. But
this year we don't have to. I was just saying this year we don't have to worry about running back.
No,
we got CMC. Running back is now off the table.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason.
They're going to focus their attention elsewhere.
I think offensive tackle is #1 focus because I'm telling you now, if they win the Super Bowl, there is absolutely zero reason why Trent 100%. Williams comes back. Why would you come 100%. Back? You're going out on top. Why would you come back? The only reason Trent Williams comes back is if we don't seal a deal. If I'm Trent Williams, I'm out. Got my ring. Yep. I'm a huge part of it. I'm a Hall of Famer. Peace. Going to go spend my money, eat good food, relax, and enjoy my freaking money that I've built up over being an awesome kick-ass player. So they have to focus on offensive tackle. If they don't, maybe they have something in mind, maybe a trade where they go trade for somebody around the league that we're not, you know, thinking about. Yeah. So we got to calm down. I mean, I know me. I kind of learned to trust this front office for the most part. I really didn't think this year we would go make a midseason trade, but then I wasn't surprised when Chase Young came to town. So, definitely big on the keeping of Peters in the front office? I know we kind of jumped around and talked about different things, but it kind of all connects to him. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about one person who has fallen from grace on the team. I don't know what the hell is going on with him, but I mean, he was getting looked at by Debo on the sideline. He was getting looked at by coach on the sideline. Let's talk about the Ronnie Bell situation. I mean, what happened to him? I mean, he was one of my favorite players coming out of preseason. I was like, I can't wait for this guy, right? He's going to make Juwan Jennings expendable. Not really. Ty, you can go first.
I just think he hasn't performed well, for whatever reason. Maybe he just didn't get enough reps during the season, right? Because he was hardly on the field. Don't know what it is. Sometimes that happens to these young guys, right? They just get in their own head, get in the doghouse. They're dropping passes. They're out there messing up. And it's like, dude. And I know why Debo's pissed off because, he said like him and Ayuk kind of took Ronnie Bell under their wing to teach them the way. Like, this is how you do it. This is where you're expected to perform. X, Y, and Z. We're giving you the knowledge and teaching you the ropes. And he's not translating that to on the field. So, hopefully Jennings comes back 100% healthy and we're not relying on Ronnie Bell that much. He did make a few plays in the game, but overall his performance has been kind of down.
Red Jet made a good point. She said, we can no longer have miscues. It's way too late in the season for muffs, punts, returns, and drop passes.
Well, he won't be in that role anyway, so that doesn't matter. I understand what Shell is saying. I agree with her, but we all know Ray will be out there.
Yeah, Ray, and then if Juwan comes back for the playoffs, I think he's hit that wall, and I think he needs to have an off season again. He needs to work out. He needs to get bigger. He's raw and he's weak. He's not a big guy to begin with. He's kind of smallish, and when you're smallish, you gotta, he's got to get in that weight room, because if you're going to be part of this team, one thing you got to learn how to do is what? Block. Mm-hmm. If you don't block, you don't get the rock. So I know that's kind of weird, but yeah. I'll go David next. What's your thoughts on Mr. Ronnie Bell?
Well, you see who our wide receivers block. They'll pancake a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So sure. Ronnie Bell does need to hit the weights. He needs to get his NFL body, which typically takes a rookie season and an off season after. And at this point, he needs to work on the fine points. Debo and Ayuk, they probably worked with him here and there, but the devil's in the details. Yeah. And his return game, he seemed to be improving the more he was doing it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have Ray McLeod. There's no reason to have Ronnie Bell back there.
He needs to stay off the field in the playoffs.
He's not a real returner. He was just there out of necessity, right? He was just there out of need because our guy got injured. But Ray's back. So
he's
Ronnie,
not fast.
Get back on the bench.
Big. Yeah, go back. CJ says none of the backups will play in the playoffs. You don't know that. If someone gets hurt.
Don't know that.
I'm not trying to crap on you. I'm just saying we don't know. Someone goes down, then the backups will play. Hopefully, you're right. I hope nobody gets hurt in the playoffs. BC?
Hey, wasn't Ronnie Bell a player for Michigan?
Yeah.
Yes. Returner in Michigan? Wasn't he supposed to be like the best returner in college?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to Michigan.
He was allegedly like a good kick returner, I think, but not really punts.
Yeah. So that is it's a little different when you're getting a ball kicked off and punted to you. It's a little different. And sometimes you do notice that the kick returner and the punt returner are different. I've been hearing a lot of chatter that they're going to let Debo return the kickoff, and they're going to have Ayuk back there returning punts. And I'm okay with that. With that. Get the guys on the field. If you think you're going to get hurt, then sit down. Take your jersey off, take your helmet off, take your cleats off, and quit, because you shouldn't be on the field. This is the playoffs. This is the time we need all hands on deck. And if you're afraid someone's going to be out there fumbling, then keep them on the bench and only put them out there if someone's injured. But I'd like to see Ayuk and Debo returning the ball. Those are our most electrifying and explosive players, the best hands on the team, maybe other than Kittle or Juice. And Juice could get back there and return too. I wouldn't be upset with seeing that. But Ronnie Bell, he's had some really weird plays this year where he's been alert, and something's happened and he's been able to make the play happen. There's been some tip balls where he's been able to catch the ball. But this game, he did something. He ran the wrong route or he mouthed off or something. And it's about attitude with this team. This team has a lot of respect. And if you disrespect one of the veterans who's a family member, because this team is about family, then you're not going to be here much longer. So if he's
100%.
doing that kind of stuff, then I don't. But he got the touchdown in the game,
He
so
did.
he was doing
He did.
decent, but something happened, and it happened later on in the game. So
Shanahan asked him, "What are you doing?" or "What were you doing?" And Debo's just sneering at him because it's like, bro, this ain't college, homie. You gotta be ready all the time.
Yeah. And that's
That's
something they went over in practice, right? It's like, dude, we taught you this. What is going on? So, like you said, rookie mistake. Rookies hit the
I'm
wall.
not trying to
Like one
poo-poo
of those
on him because
things.
he was one of my guys, like I said, coming out of the draft that I was really excited for. But he's just been weird. I don't know if, like you guys say, like the transition from college to the pros, man, it's like it's night
Not that
and day.
easy for some guys.
And he's not like
especially
you
a
said, he's
seventh
not,
round pick. Like
he's not big, and he's not super fast. So
Mhm.
he's got a lot of guile and a lot of guts, and he's this, that, and the other. I still think. Oh, go ahead.
his dad used to be a player in the league, I believe, and his dad was a wide receiver, and he's worked with his dad a lot. So that's why he's got a lot of skill. But yeah, he's not the biggest and he's not the fastest, but he does have legitimate hand skills.
Mhm.
But
He's been
listen,
coached
guys,
a lot.
we have there's always, I hate to say this, but there's always next season. He has another training camp and off season to get himself
Exactly.
looking better. I know this is kind of weird because we're talking about a single player, but it hit me yesterday. I'm like, we got to talk about this on the show. I'm like, what happened to him? Like I don't know. He wasn't the same player that we saw in training camp, and we were hearing about from all the people, and we were hearing about all the when we saw in preseason games, like, oh, this dude is going to be legit, and then it just kind of, for whatever reason. But I mean, when you got guys like Debo and Ayuk and all the other playmakers on this team, everybody else up against them is going to look like.
Exactly.
Oh, she finally made it. Hello. Thank you for coming through, Joops. Oh, thank you. Let's talk. We can end this in a bit. I want to ask you guys going into 2024. Let's see. I can bring it up on the screen, actually. Give me a second. Who out of this list are you guys looking forward to playing?
Oh.
Anybody can go.
The Jets should be fun. The Dolphins again, and of course the Chiefs. I'm sure everyone's going to have that circled on their calendar.
Oh yeah,
Levi's will definitely be rocking that game.
This is kind of weird, but the Vikings, we have a losing streak going on at their house. So this is a chance to break that. And the Lions.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Niners have another first place schedule, man.
Yep. That's what we do.
We're not the Patriots.
It'll be interesting to see when we're playing the Packers during the season, because if that's an away game, we might get a December game with the Packers.
Yep.
And the Vikings will be fun. David's right. I think we haven't beat the Vikings in Minnesota in like 30 years. So it's been pretty bad.
Since 1984 that they haven't beat them in their house, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
We don't play them a lot, but it is sad.
It's the record's like 25-25 or 26-25, something like that. It's not. They beat us in their stadium. We beat them in our stadium. It's pretty even. But yeah, maybe the Bills. It'd be fun to play the Bills, but that's another game that you should keep your eyes and ears out.
I'm probably gonna go to that game. It'll be my first NFL game.
You got to, man. It's right there.
Buffalo is an hour and 20 minutes away from my house.
You
Yeah,
got to.
I'm just interested to find out if it'll be snowing that game.
Right.
It depends
Oh,
on what
I'm
time of
used to-
year. Yeah,
I'm used to that, but I rather it be during like the early part of the season.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I just wear a t-shirt and some shorts and not have to worry about being bundled up because I get really warm when I'm stressed. So I'm going to be like constantly like taking my coat off, putting it back on,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully no one, throws anything on me. The Dolphins game, that would be awesome to go to, but that's like, money and travel and all that other stuff. I would love to meet up with some of you guys. I'm trying to think away. Not really any Northeast games on there except for the Packers, maybe.
For the Packers and Vikings. That's it.
That's it. So if anybody wants to make a
that's
trip
more
to
mid.
Buffalo,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to take a trip to Buffalo. Oh, and David, I never asked you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What the who do we want to see?
No, who like looking at the schedule next year? Who are you looking forward to?
I said the Lions.
Yeah,
Because-
he went.
They're an up and coming team, and then the Vikings because of the losing streak at their stadium. But I do have to point out 11 games against teams with winning records, and the Jets will have Aaron Rodgers back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I
it's
said
gonna
that
be
game would be
another
kind of
tough
fun.
year. That's why we need
The
to win the Super Bowl
Aaron
this year.
again.
Not a cakewalk.
No. Oh man. Oops. Sorry. Hello. There we go.
Well, if I ever make it up to Buffalo and we get to go to a game together, Aaron, we're both jumping through a table.
If you jump, I'll jump. Here's the thing. I really got to be careful because I'm very easily injured for my size.
Gosh, he's already injured. Yeah.
I have another knee surgery scheduled, so I'm getting my other meniscus fixed. My shoulders are already jacked. So if we do this, I'm gonna watch your technique and see if I can copy it. Because if I don't want to go through the table, hurt myself before the game, and then be like, crippled watching my team hopefully win in Buffalo. Only thing I know is that if I meet up anybody, that would make it great. If we meet up before the game. I've never gone to a game before. I have to go to this one. I have one guy that I work with that I know will go. We'll probably meet up. I would love to get a section and sit with people so that I'm not alone. So, if goes down, I got some protection. I'm a big guy. But I'm not taking on a whole section. So I need a little bit of backup. I would be like, get the stepping. Oh, I really don't want to fight anybody at a game because it's just a losing proposition. I don't care how tough you think you are. I'm not beating 85, 90,000 people. So, I don't know. Ty, what are you thinking? Any game? Would you go to the Buffalo game?
Yeah, it depends on the time of year. I don't do well in the cold.
You were
I get sick
fact
easily.
that you were near Rochester at one point. We could have met up.
I'm telling you, man.
Let's
I
do
get up
this.
there sometimes. Yeah.
So
I got a cousin that lives in Ithaca, and I go up that way. So
that's awesome. You were out here, and so was Peo Time from the Rams football channel.
Wow.
He's like, "You want to go out and get some coffee?" I'm like, "I'm currently on crutches. This is when I hurt my knee last year."
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I love see the whole talk about being like size matters and being a big guy matters. It does if you have strong knees and other body parts. Otherwise, I'd rather be a lot smaller and skinnier and shorter and have my physical, my body be in better shape. Don't ever listen to people who talk about, whatever. You better be skinny and small. Always. Anything else you guys got going on this week on any of your channels? Any promotion you want to do?
Well, Wednesday, it's the last week of the pick show. And, I'll be announcing the winner of the season, whoever picked the most games right. Then Friday, me and Bryant, we do a show. Not sure whose channel it's going to be on. I did last Friday. So I'd imagine it's going to be Bryant or maybe someone else's that's in the group. We'll just have to see how that rolls out, But then I'm going to be taking over the trivia. So That's something Corey was doing every Wednesday in the off season. I got to find a jacked up book that has these questions like, how are you even supposed to know that? I got to find one of those books.
As far as winning the Super Bowl this year, I really hope they win for Corey.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't as close to him as you guys were, but that dude was 49ers. Like, yeah, it would be awesome. I would definitely we'd have to do like some sort of massive stream, maybe take over, I don't know how many people you can have, 8 or 12, and just sit there and just, if we win, just everybody just be basking in it. We'd all be talking all over each other. I'll probably buy some alcoholic beverages and drink them on stream. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't happen. So if it happens, it'd be great. It'd be good.
Celebrate.
Good way to celebrate. Think about him. Hopefully they win, man. They got to do it this year, guys. This is the year, man. You look at that schedule next year, and it's like, yee, we're lucky. We maybe get a wild card out of that one. So this year, everything has kind of happened perfectly. You know what I mean? Number one seed, went into Philly, beat them. Played Jacksonville, went into Jacksonville, whooped their butt. Hosted the Cowboys, whooped their butt. I mean, I wish we would have won the Ravens game, but the Ravens are a damn good team, and Brock played like garbage. So anything going on with you, Ty or Bryant?
Now it's a quiet week for me. I'm working. So I'm streaming Wednesday night as usual with my East Coast Red and Gold crew. So tune into that, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
EC. Oh, you're muted, buddy.
You're muted.
Yeah, I get background noise, so I mute every once in a while. Yeah, I do things with David. I'll be around. Turn on your notifications for that. Me and him are doing a little bit more and more on the Sunday shows. It's going to change because right now we've been doing like the pick'ems. Now it's going to change. We won't be doing that here soon because there won't be any games to pick. So definitely tune in for the updates and stuff. When we get closer to the Super Bowl, we are going to give away a jersey, and it is in honor of Corey Davis.
Nice.
We'll be doing that here soon, so definitely listen for the notifications. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. And just remember, it's one game at a time, and everybody enjoy their family and your time that you have. It's all we have, and it's the best thing that we have. Really, is time.
Indeed.
Oh, I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we were talking earlier, and I don't mean to drag it out any longer, but we were talking maybe if we win the Super Bowl, potentially Trent Williams retires, or why would he potentially want to come back? Well, I would think maybe to run it back, right? But say we do win the Super Bowl, or we get to the Super Bowl and lose. What's the likelihood that this team can stay together for like another 1 or 2 seasons, or is this is it? Because I mean, like, we got to get it done, right? We got to win the Super Bowl. We can't keep these guys forever. I've been hearing everybody for the last couple of years. Oh, it's this. We got 1 or 2 seasons left. 1 or 2 seasons. So is this the last season? Or do we have next season too? Because I don't see Kyle going anywhere. I don't see a couple of the other players going anywhere. But yeah, Trent could retire, and we got a couple other people that could retire or leave. So
the current construction of the roster is going to change in the next 2 to 3 seasons. It's life. It's the people retire, people get paid. I'm not saying that they can't win 2-3 years from now. I just feel like this is the most prime team. I mean, defensively, we didn't have the greatest defensive year, but we still got a lot of great players, even with both of our safeties hampered, right? You look at the offense. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, it's McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, Elijah, Brock. Got to give him credit to the quarterback. I know he has a lot of toys to play with. It's the Avatar says our roster is one of the oldest. We're not super old.
We're not super old, no.
But we're definitely not. I mean, you can't just like. I understand the allure of having a team that's really young, but eventually you got to start winning, right? You want a young team that has promise, or do you want some veterans that know what they're doing and they go out and win some freaking big time games like we did this year?
Right.
We lost big time games and we won some big time games. So, yeah, I mean, I'm down. I would love for us to repeat. I would love to do. It's just so hard in this day and age, but that's a good question, BC. I never really thought about it. Like, yeah, I feel like they have to do it this year. That would be some straight up disappointment if they can't figure out a way. But Real quick, I'm on with Ted on Wednesday, back to our normal time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, I'm on with Raj, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Raj from RSF 49ers Live. And then Saturday, me and Bashar on my channel this week, talking
Nice.
Niners. It's going to be kind of a lot of a repeating of the same stuff because the Rams game was pretty forgettable, other than watching the quarterback fumble the ball away with nobody touching him at the end. I had to be
Sam Darnold being Sam Darnold.
Stick whoever you want in there, and it's the same. No, it's not really. So,
Nope.
everybody watched. Have a great night.
Yes,
The
indeed.
panel will be back next week. We will be on David's channel, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Brian, are we
Yeah, I thought it
going
was
to you?
Brian's turn. Yeah.
Wait, whose turn?
We'll get it fixed. We'll get a schedule worked out.
We'll figure it out.
We don't
I'm
know.
old.
We'll
I
figure it
forget
out.
things a lot. So everybody have a great night. Take care and go
Peace.
Niners. And David McNew, take us out, man.
Hey, go Niners. And as Corey Davis would say, F all 31 other teams.
Bye, guys and gals. See ya.